All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Well, a lot of it. We're going to talk football. Julio Jones. Everybody's talking about Julio Jones. Now, while I'm doing this video, I'm actually checking because today's June 1st, and today would be like the first day that the Falcons would execute, I should say, a trade for Julio Jones. They would not have traded him before June 1st because the financial benefits that they would get from moving him wouldn't be effective until June 1st. They'd actually have lost money if they'd have traded him before now. So today is the first day that would have happened. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but I do expect for him to be traded before the end of this week. Where is he going to go? So I think there's three teams that I think we hear the most. I think it's the San Francisco 49ers because they got over $20 million in cap space, and Kyle Shanahan was his offensive coordinator. There's the Tennessee Titans, who their players have been openly recruiting him on Twitter. A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry have both been doing it. And then there's the New England Patriots. And for you, those of you who don't know, I cover the Patriots for Heavy.com pretty much 24/7. And for obvious reasons, for me, that's where I would prefer to see him go. I mean, I would love to see Cam Newton get that extra weapon. I already think the Patriots are set up to be a much better team offensively than they were last year. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. You got an offensive line with Trent Brown, Isaiah Wynn, Shaq Mason, Michael Onwenu, and then you have David Andrews in the middle. And the running game should be solid as well. Damian Harris. You bring back James White. I think everything is in place for Cam Newton to have a much improved season. Not to mention the fact that he'll have a full off season this time to grasp the playbook. He won't have to deal with a positive COVID test, and to have all of that thrown to throw him off. And he has more weapons. So all signs point to him having a better season. I know a lot of people are trying to talk Mac Jones up into being the starter, but I think that's a premature thing. Mac Jones is a rookie and 15th pick overall and the 5th quarterback taken in the draft. Pump the brakes on that. There's no reason to play him before you need to. And I don't think that he's going to beat Cam Newton now. I hear everybody saying, and I know they're going crazy about what they see in the OTAs. Oh, Mac Jones has been accurate. He's been as advertised. As advertised in no pads and shorts. As advertised with no defense out there that is creating the impediment. As advertised with no opposing defensive coordinator game planning for everything that you don't do well. It's very early to be talking about that. We're talking about a guy in Cam Newton who is a proven leader. Guys will run through the wall for him. He has more weapons. You didn't give him any weapons last year. Now, if Cam comes out and plays horribly this season, the first 2 or 3 weeks, then it is what it is. You might have to make a different. You might have to make a change. But it would be ridiculous, in my opinion, unless he just looks like hot trash through training camp. And keep this in mind. You hear a lot of people talking about how bad Cam Newton was last year. I always take it with a grain of salt whenever anybody's talking about a quarterback. Usually quarterbacks are not as bad as somebody says, and they're usually not as good as people say. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Cam Newton did not have a fantastic 2020, but he was not as bad as most people would tell you. And I'm telling you this from somebody who watched literally every snap from Patriots football last year. Did he have some bad throws? Yes, but he had some fantastic throws too that most people are not even, they never talk about. So I am not one of those. Cam Newton can lead a successful offense, especially with the weapons that he has around him this year, and especially with having a whole training camp. Now, you throw in Julio Jones as a possibility. I think that Julio Jones to the Patriots literally turns them into a Super Bowl level team. I think you can talk about the Patriots possibly winning a 7th Super Bowl championship if Julio Jones comes onto that team. It's to me, offensively, they would have one of the most balanced offenses in the league. You can run 12 personnel with 1 wide receiver and the 2 tight ends. You can run so many different looks, and it's all anchored by this big, nasty offensive line that projects to be one of the top offensive lines in the league. And oh, by the way, you have a mobile quarterback for which you can draw up different types of things there. How good is the Patriots going to be in the red zone with the Cam Newton threat, two tight ends, and Julio Jones? How good is that in the red zone? And then you still got a power running game with Damian Harris as well. I'm telling you guys, if Julio Jones goes to the Patriots, it's going to be something pretty serious. It's going to be something pretty serious. Now, him in San Francisco looks pretty good too. I mean, you know, you got Debo Samuel, you got George Kittle, you'd have and Julio. They have some weapons as well. And fantastic, offensive play mind. But the key there is the health of Jimmy Garoppolo. Does Garoppolo stay healthy? And then Trey Lance would be coming in? At what point is he coming in? So it's a similar setup to the Patriots, but I think that I trust Cam Newton more than I trust Jimmy Garoppolo, simply from the standpoint of I trust Cam Newton to stay healthy more than I trust Jimmy Garoppolo to stay healthy. And I trust Cam Newton as a leader more than I trust Jimmy Garoppolo as a leader. And I know that Julio knows Cam. They came in the same draft. The 2011 draft was sick. I think that they have a decent connection that could be made into an even better connection if they were on the same team. That's where I would love to see him go. And if it happens, the Patriots are going to be a serious team to contend with.